Press Here is sponsored in part by Barracuda Networks, cloud-connected security and storage solutions that simplify IT.
This week, we take you inside the multi-million-dollar Chan Zuckerberg Biohub, where scientists are working to end disease. Not cure it, not treat it, end it. The Biohub's co-director, Joe DeRisi, my guest this morning. And later, from controversial to cute, the origins of the GIF and a company making plenty of money off them. Our reporters, John Schwartz of USA Today and Fortune Magazine's Michal Lev-Ram. This week on Press Here. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott McGrew. Here in Silicon Valley, we grow sort of accustomed to people changing the world. Steve Jobs and the iPhone, Elon Musk with all kinds of things. Musk says he wants to go to Mars, and I have no doubt he will. But no one has set a goal quite like Priscilla Chan. Here she is in 2015 announcing she and her husband, Mark Zuckerberg, will stop disease.
By investing in science today, we hope to build a future in which all of our children can live long and rewarding lives. We set a goal. Can we all together work to cure, prevent, or manage all disease within our children's lifetime?
Chan, a pediatrician, wiping away tears as she talks about the children she could not save in the past. The couple's vision led to the Chan Zuckerberg Biohub, a laboratory in San Francisco on the UCSF hospital campus where scientists right now are taking the very first steps in bringing an end to disease. It is a staggering goal. They put Joe DeRisi in charge. Dr. DeRisi is the recipient of the MacArthur Genius Grant. He himself has made great headway in fighting malaria, asthma, and SARS. He's co-president at the Chan Zuckerberg Biohub, joined by Michal Lev-Ram of Fortune and John Schwartz of USA Today. Let me start with this concept of stopping, managing, or preventing disease. Doesn't seem possible.
I agree. It's an incredibly bold vision. To cure, manage, or prevent all disease within our children's lifetime seems like an audacious goal. But you have to remember that with the way lifespan's going now, that's probably about 100 years. And if we think about what science was 100 years ago, 1917, what we didn't know and what we know now and the amazing advances that have been made, there's no way you can predict what 100 years from now.
Had somebody said, we will go to the moon, you would have looked like, well, literally a lunatic. They would have been insane.
Absolutely.
But you're not casting that wide of a net to begin with, right? I mean, you've chosen which areas to start focusing on, and how have you made those decisions?
Mm-hmm. So the Chan Zuckerberg Biohub is one small experiment, one small initiative in a much larger portfolio of initiatives being executed by Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan. And the Biohub is really an experiment focused in the Bay Area, joining together these three powerhouse universities that we have here, UC Berkeley, Stanford, and UC San Francisco, to bring forth new tools and developments that's going to actually deliver on the promise of managing, curing, and preventing all disease in our children's lifetime. And the tool development is something that's very serious here.
Yeah, let's go with that analogy. So instead of building the Golden Gate Bridge, you are building the, Apollo mission might be a better analogy. When they said, hey, we're going to go to the moon, back to this moon analogy again, we don't have the math. We don't have the materials. We don't have the knowledge of doing this. We literally have to build the tools to build the rocket first. Is that where you are? Your scientists are not trying to cure cancer. They're trying to build the tools that will cure cancer. Is that accurate?
Well, it's not inaccurate. So
that's close enough.
You're only half wrong.
So we are really bringing in great tool builders into the Biohub. We really are focusing on new innovations and technology development, but we also have many individuals associated with the Biohub that are trying to cure cancer and are trying to translate discoveries and tools into action at the bedside or in the future bedside.
Sure.
And so we're trying to do point A to B.
So you see the influence of Chan from the medical side. So for Mark Zuckerberg, does he bring the organizational oomph to what you're doing, or the idea of kind of creating like almost a sense of startup that has a certain task that leads to another startup that creates another task? I'm just wondering how this builds.
Absolutely. I think Mark and Priscilla are a wonderful power duo in this, and both their energies are inspiring the Biohub. And what you just said is absolutely correct. Mark believes on iterating on experiments. You do an experiment, didn't quite work out, make the next one better. Make the next one better after that and after that. And the Biohub is a 10-year experiment that will be iterated on and developed and propelled forward. And so we're part of his iterative process.
I mean, it's kind of a bad comparison that I'm going to make, but Zuckerberg with Facebook, he'll roll out something that initially the consumers may not like, but eventually they'll get it right.
Right,
they'll
and
keep
get into areas we never expected, like VR, et cetera.
Right, and so it's kind of trial by error, and I'm saying maybe on a different scale is happening with your organization.
I mean, the Biohub is an experiment in joining together, let's face it, 3 universities that work in an ad hoc way okay together, but not in a systematic, logical, way together.
Joe, walk me through. I mean, you've got these scientists. Are there 40 of them that got grants? Is that about right?
At the Chan Zuckerberg Biohub, we've awarded 47.
Okay, 47
investigatorships.
Investigatorships, and I assume they have staff as well beyond that.
They have their own labs at the university.
So you have a meeting, and do you say, all right, you are going to cure cancer, you're going to cure malaria, you're in charge of, I mean, how do you tell 47 incredibly smart people what to do? I mean, what's your role in this? Okay, right, yeah, I kind of figured you don't, right?
How do you manage
And
it?
Bell Labs did that for so many years. You don't tell them what to do. You give them money in a lab, and they just make amazing things. But then what's your job?
The process of appointing investigators, just to get to your point, is not about scrutinizing what their project details are, and are they using that kind of tube or that pH of buffer, whatever. That's not about this process. We're taking bets on human capital. We're trying to identify outstanding individuals in our research community, and we're placing bets on them, but not telling them what to do. These investigators are totally discretionary. Do your best science. We believe in you.
Is there an overlap with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation? Because I know they're looking for, was it a cure to malaria, among other things? Or at least preventive.
Yeah.
Is there any type of co-op?
So we're going to be working very closely with many other foundations, including Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They work in a very different way. They do not have an investigator program like we do. It's a very different kind. They're very much focused on global implementation, for example, in the prevention of malaria, something that's near and dear to my heart as well. And so we, I think, are highly complementary.
Joe, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back with Joe DeRisi of the Chan Zuckerberg Biohub in just a moment.